from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
And now in a different way on that one, he's able to build a focus on that line, when I see you again, because he's bringing it into a super high falsetto.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me. It's been a long day without you, my friend.
Alright, so right off the bat, he comes in with a very, very soft and gentle approach. So he's not going in his full voice, he's trying to find that kind of whispered type of tone. And that kind of helps with the song, because this song is not supposed to be a punchy, full voice, like strong type of song. It's meant to be a song that's dialed back, laid back. I mean, man, 4.2 billion views, it's insane. But he does that really, really well here.
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way.
Now he digs in a little bit more, and it's really good from a songwriter perspective. You know, that's kind of the part you want to emphasize. And by leaning into that a little bit more, he's really emphasizing that we've come a long way. And that's kind of the emphasis of what he's trying to say in this chorus. So being able to emphasize it with his voice as well is quite a great artistic expression.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
And now in a different way on that one, he's able to build a focus on that line, when I see you again, because he's bringing it into a super high falsetto, and that's kind of allowing him to put a very subdued emphasis on it.
About another path, I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things.
And Wiz Khalifa's doing a great job. He chose a very dialed back and chilled out type of rap, as opposed to trying to get too many words all in at once. As a tribute to Paul Walker, he doesn't want to be too in your face in the rap, and this kind of really suits the vibe of the song and what it's trying to get across.
When a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything.
Nice. Now for the pre-chorus, they build in his vocal to really spread out, multiple vocals all at once, and it creates a little bit more of an emphasis and intensity into that pre-chorus, because it's leading up to the drawn back chorus. Another thing that it does when you add so many vocals in is that it kind of blurs any mistakes that might be on one single vocal, because when you have a single vocal standing alone, it's very naked. Doesn't have a lot to dress it up. Whereas when you have tons of vocals all at once, it kind of blurs some of the mistakes that might have happened. So that can also be a technique in the studio that they do.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come
Yeah, and so now he's going at it with the same approach, but now they're adding in the aspect of Wiz Khalifa's background vocals. He's kind of throwing in certain emphasis lines that's changing it up slightly in this chorus.
when I see you again.
I tell you.
When I see you again.
Alright, now from a health perspective vocally, that approach to the high notes is not the best approach, and I'll tell you why. It's great for emphasis, like he really wants to emphasize that, oh, like he really wants to emphasize that part, but by slamming the vocal cords like, doing that, is actually slamming the vocal cords together and then pulling them apart and then slamming them again. So when they're vibrating like that, they're vibrating in a very aggressive way, and we don't want to do that with the voice because it's not very healthy for the voice. It can actually damage the vocal cords. So instead of going, oh, which is a very aggressive approach to it, trying to find like almost sliding into it, would help you to find a little bit more of a gentle way of starting the sound as opposed to glottal shock. When you glottal shock the vocal cords too much, it can be an abuse and it can damage the vocal cords. And so there he uses his head voice falsetto. So it's from the oh to the right? Finding that in a very light falsetto is where he's at. It's the same as it's been a. He's finding it from that very. It's been a long day. Right? He's finding that nice release on the that sound as well.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong, and what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost.
Nice. So that was all on one breath, if you notice that as he's doing it. I mean, in the studio you can play with stuff, but
first you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong, and what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost.
Nice. So like that's a really long line to go on a single breath. And I think part of it is that he builds up the breathing in the right before that line, so he gets a full breath as he does it. And a lot of people don't realize that it's when you're singing a long line like that, it's much more about breath management than it is about, you know, sucking in maximum amount of air. The reason why is because when we suck in a maximum amount of air, it can actually do the opposite of what we want it to do. So when we and then I open my mouth, like when I let the first little bit out, it becomes very airy and the air wants to escape. There's too much subglottal pressure, and so because there's that overkill of airflow that's kind of in the lungs, it's much better to find this released place of just a normal breath and then singing on that and just managing that breath properly. That's a much better approach. And by the way, if you guys are interested in learning more about the voice and learning how you can improve your voice, you can check out this card right here that I'm going to leave, and there you can get a free lesson. It's absolutely free. You just sign up on my website and I'll send it to you by email.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride. Let the light guide your way.
And so the same sort of thing with the pre-chorus there again. Now pre-chorus, not into the chorus. Now we're going into the bridge.
And every road you take will always lead you home. Oh.
Alright, and that's a really, really nice broken down bridge that he starts off more strong and then comes to a little bit more of a falsetto tone. And he goes quite high there in a full voice tone, but then brings it down to falsetto because he's leading back into the, I think, second last or last chorus, where it's going to be again in that falsetto tone and broken down. Just his voice and the piano.
Without you, my friend, oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
And nice, so he leans into a very strong head voice at the end there. So it goes from falsetto to head voice. So listen here.
Again, when I see you again.
So actually it goes full voice on when, and then I see you is into a falsetto, and then again he leans into a head voice to create a little bit more strength into that sound. So if you like that video, please check out this one. I'm sure you're going to love it too.